Welcome to RGB, your weekly podcast where we discuss the latest technology news, cool gadgets, product reviews, new apps, and great workflows. This is episode number 13. My name is Alexandre Valliere-Lagacé, and I'm joined by my co-host, Tyler Ménard. This week, we discuss major App Store policy changes, iMessage on Android, a camera app, a to-do app, and a new social network app. It has been the case for a few weeks already. Developers have seen their review of their apps on the Apple App Store, iOS App Store, Mac App Store, being much faster than before. Instead of waiting the usual 1 week if you're lucky, 2 weeks, basically the regular waiting time, and sometimes even more, it has been dropped down to most of the apps under 24 hours, if not 48 hours at the most. Apple came clean this week with some more details on why they're doing that and what they're doing. Basically, they did a bunch of interviews, The Verge, The Loop, and Daring Fireball. All of these venues had access to Phil Schiller for the behind the scenes of what is coming up with the App Store. And one of the changes that they did is that they changed the process to be able to process as much as 50,000 app reviews per day, so which is a humongous number. And you can be sure that this is not made by human clicking and opening your apps. It's most probably some kind of algorithm that is being used. I don't know how they do it. They don't tell it because they don't want people to game the system. But basically what I think they're doing is they're probably using a similar mechanism as for email spamming. Basically, Spam Assassin or any other spam filtering tool give your emails a score. The score is based on a bunch of criteria, and for each criteria, you either gain points or lose points. So let's say that you start off at 100 points, and on 100 is the perfect email that will go through forever. So, for example, if you're sending your email from an email address that is not the same domain as the email itself, then there's a mismatch, then you lose 20 points. Let's say that in your email, there's like 50 links, then you lose another 20 points. But if, for example, you sign your email, there are some technical ways to sign your email with DKIM or SPF, then you gain 20 points. So in the end, after all these criteria being evaluated, then your email goes through or not. I'm pretty sure Apple does the same thing. If you have a good standing account, if your apps have never been rejected for, let's say, malicious reason, so private APIs or trying to circumvent or gather user data inappropriately, then you have a good standing account, you have a certain number of points. If you've been on the App Store for like 5 years and you have submitted maybe 50 apps updates and they all went through, then you're maybe considered a prolific developer, somebody serious that is probably using that for his day job, then you get more points. And if let's say you have never requested rushed app reviews, or if you never had to mitigate a problem, even more points. So based on that criterias, your app can basically go in faster in the App Store. So that's probably how I'm thinking they're doing this new processing of the review process.
Also, maybe taking into consideration the number of refunds requested.
Yeah, of course. If maybe your reviews also, because they all have this data. So basically, maybe if your app has 5 stars, you get more points. If your app has 1 star, then you lose some points. And same thing for refunds, reviews, basically.
So the better your reputation, the faster you're going to go through.
Yeah, which makes sense, because normally the better you have a reputation, the more serious you are, and the less likely you are to introduce some bad stuff in your apps or some malicious circumventing the securities and stuff like that. So that's a good thing in the end. So reviews are faster. Well, good thing. It all depends, because usually developers knew that they had to wait 2 weeks. So what they were usually doing during those 2 weeks is create all the paperwork, all the release notes, website updates, blog posts, and everything. But now they basically submit it before going to bed, and it's possible that the next day when they wake up, it's already approved. So
yeah, people are talking about it from a media standpoint as well. They were given access to betas or saying this is going to go live in 2 weeks or whenever the review goes through, but that doesn't work anymore because it's like 24 hours. So you don't even have time for the press to write up the copies and everything.
Yeah, you basically, if the app developer is kind enough, he can tell you that he's aiming to submit the app maybe at the end of the next week. So you know that you have up until next week to do your jobs.
Right.
So it can be kind of a little bit harder. So let's talk about the other changes for the App Store. This review process, we knew about it. Now it's being explained in detail. But the other thing that it's been added to the App Store is basically search ads. The developers can now purchase ads that would be charged per click. So let's say you want the keyword markdown to be used to be showing your app, then you can bid on this keyword. So the highest bidder will get the most click up until his budget is completed, and then the second highest bidder, and so on and so forth. So basically, this can at first be very positive for rich players. So let's say you are in a field like Office email, yeah, for example, then Microsoft with Outlook will probably have more ad money than you if you are, let's say, Airmail
or Gmail.
Well, Gmail, they don't have any money problem.
No, I think they're okay. They're all set.
Yeah, but the little guys like Airmail will probably have more problems to be competitive on terms of ad rates for this. So Apple says in its copy that it's not going to be like impacting smaller players. So I don't know how they're going to mitigate that. I know for a fact that right now for Google Ads, it's all like algorithmic. Basically, the highest bidder gets the more views. Let's say you bid $5 per click and you have a budget of $10,000. So for that day, if you can go up to $10,000 for clicking on your keywords, and once your budget is done, then it's the second bidder who gets the click, the ad spot.
The bidding process is kind of weird, I find. Instead of just paying for ads, you have to bid. So it's gonna go ahead.
That's the only way that they can have multiple people bidding on the same keywords. Because if you wanted to buy an ad for, let's say, a Montreal cake, and I wanted to buy the same ad, well, who gets the ad? First come, first serve.
I do.
You do? Yeah?
Yeah.
But if I want to pay more, then Google's going to be happier with me.
Yeah, I know.
So it's just a way to like have a kind of a fair level playing field. Fair meaning that everybody can see the bid rates and try to outbid the other ones. But
it's just going to make the bigger.
Well, naturally, yes. But in this specific case, maybe Apple has something that they haven't announced yet. Some kind of cap. So you cannot, like, let's say, spend more than your app price, for example. Because usually big companies have big budgets that are often bigger than their app themselves, at least for the launch, for example. So let's say they want to spend, I don't know, $5 per click, but the app is only 99 cents. That's for sure that the little independent developer will not be able to match that. But perhaps Apple have some limits on how many ads can be displayed per one specific developer. The other side of that is independent developers that have trouble getting their apps searched in the App Store might have a new way to get to the top. So remember Pedometer++, not too long ago when you were typing this app name from David Smith, it was like in the, let's say, 4th or 5th position. Now it's been better.
Changed.
It changed. It's in the 1st position right now. So, but not too long ago, it was not possible to get it. So this could be the way for developers to bid on their own name to raise them to the top of the list. So kind of a way to circumvent a bad search algorithm.
Before you used to write the exact name of the app, like pedometer plus plus or sleep plus plus, it would never come up. I guess they weren't checking the characters plus plus or something.
Yeah, something like that. But now, if you can try it, it's in the first place.
Sleep plus plus isn't the first place, though.
Yeah, well, maybe this one's newer. Or maybe there's more competition and some other players are using the same keywords. Yeah, so basically this will start very soon. Was it end of the month, I think?
This fall, this fall.
This fall, but it comes in beta very soon, no?
Yeah, and it's supposed to be only for the US.
Yeah, of course, always.
At first.
Yeah, ads always come to the US first and then eventually trickle down the rest of the world. So.
Apple closing iAds, so I guess this is kind of the replacement.
Well, they're closing iAds, but I've seen this week in new job listings for ad people for Apple. So
yeah,
they're probably getting their team bigger.
Okay, so the next thing they announced this week on Wednesday, well, yesterday for us, is something new with subscriptions. So before, the way it worked, the only thing you could get annual subscriptions on were newsstand apps, so anything, magazines or anything like that. They're changing the whole thing. They're saying you're going to be able to subscribe to any categories of apps, so games, utilities, anything. So it's going to be you subscribe and you pay per month on a certain app, any app, and this is gonna help the developers to get a monthly income to help with the development of the app, new features and everything. So basically fast track everything and maybe help them down the road, I guess. Another change is after a year of a subscriber, instead of giving 30% to Apple, you're just going to give 15%. So that's going to help too. And this is starting on June, next week, I think.
Yeah, just in time for WWDC.
Right.
Yeah, so basically the new subscription can be on, like you said, on any types of app.
Right.
But there's a little asterisk. Yeah, that it has to be either a service or a content that is often updated. So I'm guessing if you make a utility app and you don't really update it, you won't be able to justify subscription.
Yeah, say you make a calculator or something.
Yeah, that's the often used example.
Yeah.
But let's say you have, I don't know, let's go back to Instapaper, for example. Marco had a server component that was doing the parsing. So, and you could subscribe to the app. So basically, this would fit because there's some server-side components and services that has to be maintained and paid for, which are probably more than $1 per user on a long time scale. Same thing for content. If, let's say, you have a game with new levels every month, that could be a way to monetize this. All these things are good. It's just that right now it's not super clear in the Apple support document. So you don't exactly know where are the boundaries and if your app fits that new model or not, or if you try to build an app using this model and you submit it to Apple and you get refused. So it's a little unclear for now. So hopefully this will get better in the coming weeks, especially with WWDC and the different sessions on the subject.
Also, is it going to be applied to freemium apps? Say you have a free app and you pay an extra $2 for search or something. Instapaper had this at the beginning. Is it going to apply? Can they subscribe? Or say Overcast, for example, you pay to get dark mode and uploads of any file you want.
Yeah, I don't see this as a recurring feature, meaning that yes, there are new features, but maybe it's not sufficient for Apple to allow this. Apps, according to Apple's mentality and values, they are paid for once and then they should receive unlimited numbers of updates over the time of the lifespan of the app. So I don't think we're going to see some kind of model that you can do that for any app, and no matter how many updates you do, if it fits or not. The other side of that is, let's say you have some very professional app, let's say like
big business apps, or
it's like Office, for example. Okay, wrong example because they're not being very developed, but let's say Sketch, Sketch, which was on the App Store until recently. They usually have maybe 4 or 5 big updates per year with major new features. So does that fit the new guidelines, and will Apple let them charge a subscription? It's it's like a professional app with great updates, regular updates. So I would hope yes, but maybe Apple considers updates as something free that has to come over time. So basically, unless it has a content feature where new content, let's say like tutorials or whatever, is being created, then it has to have some backend service, which is probably not the case for Sketch. So in the end, will it work or not? It's still very unclear.
Also, this is available for the Mac App Store, iOS, and tvOS. So all 3.
Yeah, for tvOS, it's easier. Right, because there's a bunch of apps that are actually like video apps that are only like libraries of yoga videos and stuff like that. So so it's easier to justify the recurring fee for that, because they basically have a bunch of new videos every X number of weeks. So that's fine. It's more for non-content intensive and non-backend intensive apps service that it's pretty like unclear.
Also, funny thing they have on the side notes is excludes free trials, but they don't talk anywhere about free trials. So it might be something they're introducing. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that go by. There's also something you're using a subscription, which I think I just like skimmed it quickly. I think the developer can offer the first month free. So let's say that you download an app, you pay for the subscription, you actually enable the subscription, and this will can come only at the end of the month. So you are kind of like have a free month to try the app, and if during that period you're not satisfied, you can cancel your subscription. So it's kind of like a free 30-day trial. So maybe it's not explicitly written for now, but it's going to become the de facto trial mode for the App Store.
They also have a 60-day grace period. So if somebody subscribes and then he decides he doesn't want it anymore, you have 60 days to get him back if you want.
Okay.
So that's going to be weird. They might have a notification and what went wrong, and do you have feedback, and then you send in feedback and they could give you a coupon, I don't know, or something to try to keep engaging with your clients.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be nice. I'm pretty sure that with all the criticism that the app stores had in the recent weeks and months, Apple probably increased the number of engineers on the platform, and we're going to see all these new stuff next week. And even Phil Schiller said that this is the first time that they tried this, like pre-announcing new features from WWDC like a week in advance. He said the reason behind that is that he wants the developers to get an initial grasp on the new features and come prepared to the sessions with 1 week of reflections and with questions ready. Like Marco and David Smith said in one of their last Under the Radar podcast, if you ever get to one of those sessions, you have to be prepared, because that's the way that you get the most out of the short time you have with the Apple engineers. So developers knowing the new features, thinking how they could monetize their app for a week, and then going to the session will be perfect.
Also, people have been floating around the idea on Twitter that they don't want this to be the big talking point after the keynote on Monday.
Yeah, because if they have too many high interest points like this one, they might want to spread it across like this week and next week, so that this doesn't get all the spotlight and the rest of the features.
Steal the show.
Yeah. Or maybe they just have too big of a show. Maybe it's with this would have been like a 4-hour keynote, which would be like way too long.
Yeah, so we're gonna get the Mac Pro next week, and then Thunderbolt external display. Yeah. So they didn't want to steal the show with this search thing.
Yeah. So one other thing we also noted, if you were quick to see the documentation, there was one mention of iOS, tvOS, and macOS with a small again. And if you go see right now, they already updated it. So.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. But I didn't see that.
Yeah, it was shared in our iOS Slack group at work. So.
Really? People got it? Screenshots?
Yeah, we got a screenshot.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll find it and I'll put it in the show notes.
Nice.
So it's the second time that official documentation mentioned macOS, and then like a day later or a few hours later, it gets reverted to Mac with a capital M.
I'm sure it's a question of minutes.
Yeah, maybe minutes even. Yeah, because once people get it,
there's no Mac with a capital M.
Yeah,
doesn't
sorry,
exist.
It's just OS X. Sorry.
Yeah, OS X.
Me and my classic Mac.
Yeah, was it Mac OS with a big capital M or a small M?
It was a capital M, like Mac space. No, you mean today?
Yeah.
No, it was OS
yesterday.
X. Yeah, it was OS X. Yeah,
No. Yeah, but I mean before the screenshot you were showing.
Yeah, it was Mac OS with a small M. Yeah.
Like WatchOS.
Yeah, like WatchOS, tvOS, iOS.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was really like iOS, tvOS, and then macOS. Like it just flows right with the tongue. So. And there's also other stuff that are being rumored. Mainly something for the Android users. iMessage would be coming to Android starting next week. So this would not be the first Apple app on Android. They already have the Apple Music app and the funny move to iOS app.
Oh yeah, it has horrible ratings on the Google Play Store.
Of course. We'll put this in the show notes because it's too fun to watch.
So this marks the end of the green bubbles.
Yeah, exactly. So basically all your friends on Android, you'll be able to iMessage them with the same blue bubbles that you are able to message your iOS friends. The nice feature for that is that iMessage is encrypted end-to-end. So I think it's not going to be the first one, but it's probably going to be one of the major apps, if your Android friends install it, of course, that offers end-to-end encryption. So that's a good thing for privacy. And it's a good thing for Apple because this is probably one of the biggest pain points that people have with one of their tens and tens of messaging apps to be able to reach all your friends on other platforms.
Might be an answer to hello. Well, Allo.
Yeah, maybe, because this is a good contender, and maybe Apple has more plans for iMessage. Maybe this idea of a butler, an assistant like Google has. Maybe Apple had it also with the new Siri APIs. Perhaps you'll be able to chat with Siri and add Siri to your conversation. We never know.
This might, I'm sure people just buy iPhones because they want to have iMessage to iMessage with their friends. So this might lose sales for Apple.
Do you think that iMessage is such an important feature that people were...
Well, we use it a lot for groups, and it's always a pain to text the people that's on Android and can't join the big conversation on iMessage, and they get left out. And I know of at least 2 people that switched to iPhone purposely for that.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That is cool. No, I did not know that there was such a pain point because I really have very few friends on Android, and those that are, basically we use other means of conversation like Hangouts or Slack. So basically it's much easier with other types of app because these green bubbles usually the delay is, first of all, very long. Could be from 20 seconds to like 2 minutes. So having a chat discussion is not easy. So we tend to naturally evolve to something else. But with iMessage for Android, if the Android people would like to install it, then it will be much easier for sure. Unrelated to Apple, meaning not officially announced by Apple is that cool little touch bar that was rumored to go on top of the MacBook Pro. So it would be a OLED bar from left to right, about the width of the keyboard. In order to put this into a visual form, 9 to 5 actually made some cool concept video of this little OLED bar. So they basically took a MacBook that is space gray, and they added that bar, they added the speaker grills and like everything to make it look like the concept. Just thinking about it, I was not so interested by the concept, but looking at these images, I must say that I am pretty impressed with what it can do. And they have examples of it, for example, showing
what it can do. It's not even out. It's just rumors. Don't get carried away.
Yeah, I know, but yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's not so far-fetched. It's like, when they show you like those iPhone 10 concept that are basically like a sheet of glass. Yeah, that's the it will never see the light of day in this decade for sure. But this...
It looks really good.
Yeah, it's basically like a black screen, a black bar. You have the escape button, which is on the far left side. So the escape button will become a virtual button. Then you can have, let's say, for example, Spotify. Then you have your scrubber, your play pause button, and backward.
You're now playing.
Yeah, buttons. And on the right, there's a bunch of little status icons. I'm not sure about those because it's just basically repeating what's on the screen. So, yeah, whatever. So this is just an idea. So, and they also have other screenshots, like, for example, a torrent transfer from transmission. You can see it right there. What else do they have? They even added like a backlight on the keyboard, so just for funsies, and an iPhone 7 with a dual lens, just for fun. But basically, that bar thing looks very nice. Yeah, I could see myself using that. I don't know how they're going to toggle between the different modes. Probably the escape button.
Yeah, because you're going to have to flip.
Yeah, maybe a swipe on the escape buttons. Because they kind of put like 3 little underlines, 2 squares, and a power button. So basically, I think this escape button has many features. So you can probably just swipe it or press it hard for power.
They also added in the screenshots pictures of what is supposed to be the new iPhone with the dual camera in the back. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's pretty well made. So looks nice. So that's it for the news for this week. We had a few apps this week that are just came out earlier today. Icon Factory, famous app developer that's been there for how long? Like
forever.
15, 20 years? Yeah, 20 years, I think. They just launched Bitcam, which is basically forever like a ritual-looking app that can take photos that are very pixelated. Not pixelated, but like the color, kind of like an old GIF file from the 80s. So basically the black and white or color photos, but very
pixelated.
Yeah, pixelated. They kind of have like 3 resolution, like super res, standard, and fat bits. So
super noisy.
Yeah, it's very noisy. So you should really take a look. It's very fun. It's free, so it's just for funsies. And in the app,
it's the word of the week. Funsies.
Yeah, funsies. Yeah, just for funsies. So basically, I think it's just like they wanted to make something for this year, which is the Apple's 40th anniversary and their 20th anniversary.
Yeah, so 96.
Yeah, just for fun. So they even put up. They even put up a website that is retro looking. It's basically iconfactory.com/bc.html. So they have a few pictures over there. They have some cool text that explains the app, and basically the footer is very fun because it's made with Macintosh with that little apple that is going around.
Spinning logo.
Yeah, then there's a Guy Kawasaki logo and a PocketSoft web ring. I think he was with them early on, I think.
Guy Kawasaki?
Yeah.
Does he make motorcycles?
No. He was one of the longest.
VC?
No, evangelist when Apple still had those. So he was a developer and evangelist. Probably, what is that from? Let me see. 95
Apple fellow.
Yeah, 95 all the way to, I don't know how long, but he was there like in the 80s and he was there in the 90s. So yeah, basically he's a longtime Apple fan and employee and yeah, fellow. Yeah, so that's Bitcam. You should really check it out. It's free, it's fun. And the second app is a to-do app. Yes, one more to-do app. This one is special because it looks a lot like Slack. And the point of it is to create tasks and assign them a hashtag so that you can group them by topic, for example. And you can share the hashtag, the topic, with your friends. So basically, I created like a RGB hashtag. I added a task and I invited Tyler to see this list so we can both work on the same task together. We can add notes to task. We can have a little discussion on it. And the cool thing is that it really looks like Slack. So the sidebar, the font choice, the design of the app is really reminiscent of Slack. So it's cool. And for now it's in beta, so you can get it for half price. I think it's $19. It's going to be eventually $40 when it comes out. The developer was not expecting it to be posted to Product Hunt today, so he wasn't ready. But he already confirmed that the iOS app is coming soon, and everything is synced over the wire. So basically, you can have to-dos on your phone and on your Mac and share the different data. Have you opened it? So take a look.
No, not yet. I'm trying to do it live.
Live, all right. Yeah, you can also add files and links to your different tasks, and there's notification also. So when your colleagues close tasks or add comments or questions, you can get notification for those. One cool thing with Perma is when the data is synced, you have a little status bar on the bottom left, which says online or offline. And if ever you add a note or a task, you can see that there's a little text that says one action missing, I think. One action pending sync. And then you can quickly see a little LED that's just kind of flashing and kind of like old modems. And you could see the LED that tells you that there's a transfer in the progress. So it works the same way.
Okay, I have it open now. It's true, it looks a lot like Slack.
Yeah, so on the left side, this sidebar, you have smart tags and my tags, which are kind of like channels and direct messages. And then you have the fonts is very similar. There's bold and gray, which are very similar too. So you also have a search feature, so you can search your tasks. Yeah, and I got notification, Tyler completed some task.
It's exactly like Slack.
Yeah.
With the add task at the bottom, it's the same as the message, not the message bar, the input field for messages on Slack.
Yeah, it's super similar.
Especially the sidebar with the little hash.
Yeah. I don't know who's the developer though. It's not clear on the website. It's very minimal. So it's basically a few screenshots and that's it.
It's a typical product website.
Yeah. Made by Flint, but I don't know who is Flint. I don't know this company, so. And it's not on the Mac App Store. It's basically just standalone. You can buy it using Paddle, which is which was started as you can buy the app using Paddle, which started as a locker service for your app licenses, and eventually migrated into a app purchasing service. So they handle the transaction, credit cards, and everything. So basically, if you click the buy button, you have a little pop-up that is selling the app for $19 US using your email address. And if you log in your Paddle account, you'll see the license will be added automatically.
How long is the free trial?
They don't say. And the last app for this week is
It's our favorite corner.
Yes, it's a return of the old mighty social network app of the week. So this time the app is called Bumpers. Basically, it looks a lot like, let's say, Vine, for example. So you record content and it's in a timeline. But this time, instead of being video, it's just audio with which you attach a photo. So it can be like anything from a few seconds to a few minutes. And then you talk about whatever subject you want to talk about. Usually people use that to rant. This time of year, basically, it's mostly related to the US elections. So if you open the app, you'll see a bunch of rants of people commenting whatever has been tweeted by this or this candidate. But the app itself is nicely made. It's pretty well done. I don't like the icon at all. So it's just a triangle with a closed eye with eyelashes and headphones. But the app, other than the icon, is pretty nice. You should take a look at it. It says easily record, edit, and listen to conversations, rant, and audio shows. So you could potentially make a mini podcast on this app and share it like that. So kind of like the Periscope of video, but this time for audio. And it's not live, but I'm pretty sure you can subscribe to get notification when your friends are posting something. So
it's only audio, right?
Yep, only audio. But you can add a photo to your content. So you can have like a visual cue of what you're talking about, for example.
We should record the podcast on that.
No, I don't like being locked in some kind of service because you don't own your files. And if ever this app dies, which is often the case with different social network apps, then you lost.
The ratings are pretty good on the Canadian store, at least. 10 ratings and they have 4.5 stars.
Yeah, on the first day,
it's all friends.
Most probably, yeah. Because this was just released today, June 8th. No, yesterday. Okay, yesterday. It was released yesterday. There's already a 0.1 update. But yeah, so basically try it, see it for yourself. It's pretty well made, but I don't see that being a replacement for podcasting for sure. Because it's basically like BMA and other apps like that. It's just for funsies.
For funsies.
Yeah, the keyword of the day, so I have to use it a lot.
Is it your kid or something that said that from school? Where'd you get that funsies thing?
From a podcast. Was it Steffi Nackett? Either Steffi Nackett or maybe Mike Hurley? I'm not sure, but one of them said funsies, and it kind of like ring to me. And okay, I like this word. So I think that's basically it for this week. So you can find the show notes on your podcast app of choice. You have chapters if you want to skip to the part you prefer. If you don't want us to talk about subscription, you just skip over to the iMessage discussion. You can find the show notes at ipserpixel.co/RGB/13. So you can subscribe. You can subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, TuneIn Radio via RSS. I already have links for Overcast, Pocket Cast, and Player FM on the website at ipserpixel.co/RGB. If you have feedback, you can tweet at us, RGB Podcast, Tyler Menard, Valière, or using the hashtag RGB Podcast, or even by email using podcast@ipserpixel.co.
Leave us a rating anywhere.
Yeah, ratings are fine. Feedback, especially feedback. We've gotten a few feedbacks over the last few weeks, so we want more. What you like, what you don't like, something you want us to talk about. Just bring it on.
So see you next week.
All right, see you next week.